Hi guys, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about an Australian kind of indie-ish drama movie with a little bit of horror themes. This was actually recommended to me by Fighting Free. Thank you so much for your recommendation. I swear someone else recommended it to me, but looking up your comments, I could not find your name. I'm really sorry if someone else also recommended it, but this film is amazing in a weird way. The reason I'm talking about this film, although it's not technically, it kind of is horror, but it isn't like horror. It's kind of like Goosebumps horror, I would say. It's got some sprinkled in themes, but it's also a really, really dark movie. So it's got that. The film is about two boys, one popular and one outcast, and they decide to play a game on Halloween, which has them revisit the town's folklore and visit the tragic history of their friendship. I would say this film has a really odd kind of vibe to it, although it is set when I was growing up in Australia, so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I think it's in South Australia, but it doesn't have any phones and everyone has like Discmans and stuff like that. And I actually read some trivia that said that they didn't actually use any cars in the background of the film because they wanted to make sure they used cars that were accurate to the time. So they were just like playing it really, really safe. And I think that they really encaptured that kind of coming of age in Australia, like my generation growing up. And I guess for me it was very nostalgic, and that could add a few of the points I'm going to give the film. But I thought that it was done in such an authentic way, and the boys are casted really interesting. Like I like how there's a lot of them in this gang kind of at the start, but they all kind of have their own little roles, and I thought that was really interesting. So the acting was great, but there was parts where I was really confused about some of the conversations between the boys and the girls seemed quite forced, and it just didn't really gel properly, and it felt like it might have been a directing type of situation because acting alone they were fine, but when they were put together it was just a little bit weird and forced. I really, really enjoyed the way the film was shot. It was beautiful and really high quality, as in the contrast of the colors and the darkness, because it obviously is like all taking place at night. So I thought they did that really well, and it had that kind of old school vibe, being that it was meant to be set in like 90s, early 2000s, and then also like some really good quality camera gear. And I guess you're not really used to seeing the good quality with the 90s films, because a lot of 90s or early 2000 films are filmed then, if that makes any sense. Normally that's not a look that people try and get anymore. It's either like way back or like now. So it's, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but it was quite interesting to see that. But the real star of the film is definitely the storyline. And although you think that it is going to be really predictable, and in some points it is, it definitely has a lot of twists and turns that you won't see coming. And I definitely predicted something from the start that you've seen this kind of film before, but I promise you that you will not understand the depth that it goes until the very end. And for that, I'm really surprised I haven't heard of this film before, just because the way it was shot was just beautiful and the storyline was so intriguing and interesting. I'm just really surprised I haven't heard it from word of mouth. The movie also uses mixed media to tell its kind of little urban legends. So kind of like how I did that video with Good Morning Nancy. If you guys watched that when we exchanged ghost stories, it kind of went into different elements while they were telling the stories, which I thought was really clever and really nice. And that's why I kind of get a Goosebumps kind of vibe from it. So if you're into that, I definitely recommend this. I also want to mention that the soundtrack definitely incorporated those cool, like grungy alternative rock songs from the 90s, early 2000s, as I've said 100 times now, which is my favorite era. So and I love alternative rock, so I really, really liked that, and I felt myself kind of singing along as I was watching it. I thought that the soundtrack was perfect. The reason I'm talking about this film is it is a slower film that is a drama that is kind of looked over, and when I saw the poster, which I have to admit, this really put me off it. It looks really cliche and really and when I started watching it, I thought it was going to be that cliche type of movie, and it was very predictable in certain aspects, but you just really need to stick with this one because it has a really, I don't want to say important message, but it has a really soul-crushing message. I would say it's kind of like Before I Wake in a way, not the same message at all, but one of those soul-crushing things that just really hit you at the end and you're not kind of expecting it to be that deep and full of such like sorrow. And it is definitely one of those journey movies that you think is trying to be like all deep and meaningful, and then you realize it actually fucking is. And that is why I have to mention this film to you guys. I would totally recommend you all go out and watch this film, and let me know what you think about it below. It is a slower film, it is more of a drama, but it definitely has some really cool aspects. And because it is set on Halloween, that's what makes it interesting. Also very interesting because we don't really celebrate Halloween here, and I don't know what fucking town these people grew up in, but I wish I lived there. Kids all dressing up, it just didn't really make sense. Also, they're wearing jackets, and Halloween here, it's October, it's like the start of summer, this is end of spring, whatever. It's not gonna happen, is what I'm trying to say. It's not gonna happen. But it's very interesting, and I wish I grew up in this town. I'm gonna give this one a personal score of 6, an originality score of 8, and a scare score of 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you go and find this movie and tell me what you think. I hope you guys are all having a great day, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.